Bear with me. We're going to have a great time. All right. So guys, I am completely beyond excited because my good friend, Ann Louise Gittleman, who many of you know I have followed for many, many years.
Eons.
Yes, as long as I've been alive. She has put out this book called Radical Metabolism. I have been talking about this, and it's radical for a myriad of different reasons. And Ann and I were just actually talking, and then I'm going to let you jump right in, Ann. We were actually talking about this book and how different it is from what is out there when it comes to metabolism, weight loss, detoxification, and more. This book is like the 5 pillars of what it takes to be healthy in this current world and moving forward. So I am radically excited to have you here today, Ann Louise. So can you please tell everyone just a little about this book and what even inspired you to put this book out at this time?
Well, thank you for the lovely and glowing introduction, Rachel. I'm so fond of you, as you know. I think you're such an up-and-coming rock star in your own right. So I'm so grateful to be part of you and your community. And let me just say that radical metabolism is radical because we deal with issues that nobody's uncovered. This is not just another high-fat diet. This tells your body what to do with the fats, what to do with the bitters, how to metabolize. And it's specifically good for those that are no to slow losers, who have autoimmune issues, Hashimoto's or Graves or anything in between. Very important for those with an over 40 metabolism, or individuals in their 20s and 30s who think they have an over 40 metabolism. So this will provide answers that no other book has, and we make a connection, a very radical connection, between the gallbladder and the thyroid, because there's an unholy alliance between these two particular, this gland and this organ, that nobody's uncovered. So it's about flushing the toxins, it's about losing weight, revving your thyroid, and diminishing the symptoms of many autoimmune problems. So it's pretty radical when you get to that extent.
So let's even dive in, because I know last time we had talked, you had come out and talked about the importance of fat in gallbladder. And I think so many people don't make this connection between autoimmune, weight, metabolism, energy, the ability to detoxify, all the things that you have put together in this book. So let's even start with gallbladder, because I think healthy fats, we can even tie it into what is the importance of gallbladder when we think about not just metabolism, but autoimmune. Like the two, I think these are two huge topics.
They're two huge areas because everybody's concerned about digestion. A lot of people don't have their gallbladder, and they have all kinds of autoimmune illnesses that are mystery illnesses. So the basics are this. The gallbladder is an important organ. It's not a throwaway organ. The gallbladder does not belong in the throwaway organ club, as I like to say. It's not like the appendix, but it is the storehouse of bile. If you're on a high-fat keto diet, a high-fat paleo diet, a high-fat primal diet, all that fat needs to be digested and assimilated properly. You can't do that if you don't have a gallbladder, nor can you do it if you have sluggish bile. If you have hormonal dysfunction, if you have autoimmune illness, all of those issues have to be flushed through the gallbladder, because it is a detox method. The bile, which is important because it's stored in the gallbladder, is a detox method of the liver. So that if you're not detoxifying properly, you're not going to be healthy. So the two go hand in hand. What we find that individuals that lose their ability to produce bile because they don't have a gallbladder or have sluggish or congested bile, as so many Americans do, with so many saturated fats that they're not digesting, will have problems with vitamins A, vitamins E, vitamin D, and K, all of which are autoimmune issues because they're so important for the immunity. So everything goes hand in hand. You cannot do a high-fat diet if you can't digest and assimilate it. It's very, very basic and very simple, and that's what I cover in Radical Metabolism. It's how to utilize the nutrients, how to digest them, and if you don't have a gallbladder, what kind of replacement therapy you need to take in terms of your supplements and your diet.
And for those, because I hear this constantly. And I feel like in the last few years, which, you know, I'm so grateful that you've done this book, is because I hear people that talk about poor digestion and they think it's just a probiotic. They talk about that pain in that upper right back. They talk about the ability to, you know, constipation or foggy brain, and just all these different skin issues, hair issues, nail issues. So when somebody buys this book, will they get suggestions for even a sluggish gallbladder if they haven't had their gallbladder removed?
Yes, because we give you a quiz, and there are all kinds of symptoms that really come into the slow gallbladder or detoxification issues that are connected to the gallbladder or congested bile. If, in fact, you have problems with constipation, very oftentimes it's because your bile is congested. Bile is a lubricant for the gut, so without that, you are not going to be going to the bathroom the way that you should. It's also very healing in terms of a leaky gut. So you get digestive issues are covered, leaky gut is covered, problems with esophageal irritation is covered, GERD is covered, allergies are covered, issues with your skin, your hair, your nails. A lot of it has to do with fat digestion. So if you don't have your gallbladder, you need to supplant your bile. And that's what's important in terms of your bile salts, the bitters that we talk about, because bitter is better, as well as certain detox methods that we talk about in our 4-day intensive and our 21-day reboot. So it's all covered, and we give that information to you when you join our particular Facebook group. And I actually am part of that group so that I can walk people through this. This is radical. This is not your everyday diet book. It's a nutrition book. We're rewriting the rules of nutrition. If you want a keto book, this is not for you. But if you want a book that will handle all the issues that we're suffering from fatigue to tiredness to mysterious symptoms of your skin, your hair, your nails, problems with allergies, problems with leaky gut and digestion, then this could be the missing link that is absolutely worth the price of the book.
And I think, you know, not only that, but I feel, and you and I have talked about this, people are so confused. They hear diets left and right, trending diets that maybe they feel they can't sustain through life, or they feel like it's just great for 40 days. But what I hear you also saying, and I know because I've read the book, is that we have to look at the whole body as a system. We have to reshape the way we look at nutrition, reshape the way we look at our health, and address this in a very different way based on today's times.
Well, and that's why I have the 5 radical rules to kind of reset your metabolism and rescue a stalled metabolism. And metabolism isn't just about digestion, it's all about immunity as well. I'm interested in cellular health, what goes on the cellular level. And that's why I think this book is so important. And I'm also interested in not just what you're eating, which of course is vital, and the purification of your system, which is also important in terms of detox, but the foods that you're cooking have to be cooked in the best utensils. So we restock and make your kitchen into a radical laboratory of life. That in and of itself, when I was doing my research, was phenomenally interesting to me, because a lot of people don't realize that what they're cooking in is very toxic and may be contributing to some of their mysterious symptoms.
And I love, you know, one of my favorite words, because I too feel we are in this mystery illness state. I don't often meet a person who doesn't have some issue happening. We talked about this, thyroid issues, Hashimoto's or Graves', or they have a metabolism issue, or they can't lose weight, or they just feel off. And I love that you talked about that cellular, because to me, this is a completely different conversation. And it's a conversation that everyone needs to realize, especially when they're bringing up children, to set the stage for a healthy foundation, but to take care of themselves really for a long life.
Well, it's to live longer into the age of longevity, so that we're not just extending the period of dying. We want people to live till 120, but in health and happiness and vitality. And that's what's so important. And the reality is, Rachel, this is not our mother's environment. It's not our mother's world anymore. It's a toxic, challenging world. We've got the glyphosate surrounding us in some of our grain products. We've got problems with EMFs. I deal with all of that to some extent in the book so that you can kind of navigate your way through a toxic and challenging world, because it will not get less toxic. Chances are it will become more challenging as we get older. And when you get older, and trust me, because I'm there, the maintenance gets higher. So I'm giving you kind of a roadmap with my own personal experience about what to do. And I have a very sensitive system. I have taken every genetic test known to man. I have 3 out of 4 detox pathways blocked. So if I say this works for the canary, which is like me, it's going to work for mostly everybody else out there that simply needs a little detox, a little tuning up, and a little change in their dietary habits. The book is chock full of information. We can take it step by step, and that's what we do on our Facebook pages, and that's what we would do with any of your health coaches and your fans.
And I think, you know, for most people, I see thyroid. And I love how, you know, right away you're like, let's address this. But it's not just this one part. And that's what I think people need to understand about this book. It's a comprehensive, and you just said, it's a roadmap. It's a roadmap so that you don't have to sit there in confusion or sit and feel uncomfortable in your own skin, in your own body, and have these toxins continue to build up and wreak havoc on the whole system. And ones that we even have no control over, as you were saying.
Well, that's why you have to make yourself into an invisible fortress, an invincible fortress that's invisible and visible to yourself. So I think what's important is that if you take the normal foods that we're already eating, and the book is not that esoteric, there are a few rarefied things I tell everybody to buy, and I'm going to show you one of them now. Can you see this oil? It's my extra virgin Siberian pine nut oil. This was the magic bullet that I discovered and had to put in the book because I read about the research of how this heals the gut, the esophagus, the large intestine, the small intestine, the stomach. This is one of the most important things for people that have irritation or inflammation. It works better than anything that I've ever used. This is focused on in the book because it's an omega-6, which is very healing to the mucosal membranes as well as the skin, and acts like an appetite depressant. So this one little bottle of this will heal your gut in 3 weeks' time. Try it. You'll be thankful that you bought my book, and you'll buy your Siberian pine nut oil. It's one of the little, I would say, gifts that I got when I did the research. And I've been using it myself. My clients are using it. Their skin is cleared up. It's almost magical in what it does on the inside and the outside.
I love that. I mean, because even when I look in the book, what I love also about your writing is it's specific, but it's also easy to read. It's easy to understand, and it's easy to take notes from it and then go shopping for the things you need to shop for so you can follow the step-by-step.
I tried to do that, but I must tell you, there's a lot of new information in there because I rewrite the rules of nutrition. I've been doing that for like 35, probably 40 years now, but who's counting? So the reality is there's a lot of misconception out there, and I had to spend time kind of setting the record straight. We talk about revamping your fats, the right oils. I'm bringing back omega-3s and omega-6s in the right proportion, which is 4-to-1 in favor of omega-6s. Not the commercial omega-6s, but the unaltered linoleic acid that's in things like hemp seed oil, for example. So that's another one that I kind of introduce along with my miracle therapeutic pine nut oil. I talk about how important it is to restore your gallbladder function with a little quiz. We talk about rebuilding your muscles, so important in terms of weight loss, which we all know. But who knew that coffee is so important for your muscle strength and lean muscle mass? I didn't know it until I did the research. And then I discovered the best coffee in the world, which is none other than Purity coffee, which I talk about, and that's because it is mold free. And if you have a high mold content, you're actually feeding EMFs, which is another issue we talk about. So mold free, no pesticides, high in antioxidants like polyphenols. So a lot of these things you're going to have anyways in your diet because most people are now drinking coffee. They're drinking the coffee with the the coconut oil, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But now we kind of up the ante a little bit with the best source that I have personally found, as well as a morning drink called the Citrus Blaster. So the reality is you're already taking some of these things. We're introducing a few new little perks here and there, but this is for the food lovers diet. People that love food and have some of these things in their spice cabinet, in their pantry already, will just get things kicked up a notch. It's like a cut above. That's what we did in Radical Metabolism.
Well, and that's what I was, even when I said earlier, like, this isn't a diet, it's a way of life. And so what you're providing is a different way to take care of yourself. I mean, we don't often talk about the mold in the coffee, but we really have to, when we want to start taking care of ourselves in this time where we are affected day to day by, sprayings and pollution and herbicides and pesticides and everything that goes on. Even if we eat organic, I always say, the runoff from the field next to the organic, you just have to even think constantly about what are we being bombarded.
Well, you do, because there are all kinds of autoimmune issues and problems with the mysterious diseases, whether it's MS or whether it's ALS or Parkinson's, that we now know could be connected to some sort of pesticide, herbicide, or fungicide. And the reason that I made such a big deal, Rachel Feldman, by coffee, you've got to understand, I am not a coffee drinker. So this was really going out on a radical limb for me. But the research is so compelling, and half the world does drink coffee, that I had to find the healthiest coffee. Because if you're getting a cup of coffee a day that's not organic, you are drinking liquid pesticides. It has the highest amount of pesticides of any cash crop on the planet. So I think what's important is for people to understand that they can do this at any level. They just come in at entry level. We've got a 4-day cleanse. Maybe it's a little too extreme for some people, maybe not, with the juices in my watercress soup. If not, you go on the 21-day and you do what you can. You take a look at the menus. You say, wow, she's using hemp seed oil. Maybe I'll substitute my coconut oil for hemp seed oil. It's very simple to make easy swaps and substitutions in little bite-sized nuggets.
Somebody is asking, do you have the link to the pine oil in your book and the links to purity, to the coffee?
It's in the book.
Okay.
It's Siberian pine nut oil. It's definitely in the book. And I'm going to tell you the name of it. The one that I personally like, and there are many fine brands out there, but the one that I researched the most was Siberian Tiger Extra Virgin Siberian Pine Nut Oil, natural, unrefined. And when I do my own little testing, this is the one that came up higher. And the reason that I make such a darn big deal out of this is that if you have suffered from problems like GERD or heartburn, and you have irritation and you have erosion, this is the only thing that I have found that can heal that. And you see measurable differences, even with H. pylori, which is so profoundly epidemic in this day and age. In just 3 weeks' time. It's like magic. I mean, it's like a liquid gold.
Well, I am so happy you've been here. I had posted the link for everyone. Please go to Radical Metabolism and check out Ann's book, especially if you are struggling with any of these issues, because too often what I found from when I saw clients or coaches I know or friends is all of a sudden for them, this health issue will arise. But it's probably been there for many years brewing, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until we get to that next stage of a hormone level. And so I see this common trend right now where my friends, I'm 43, and at that age, everyone is finding out their thyroid is sluggish, not knowing what to do, finding out maybe they have an autoimmune. And so I love that you said this is a roadmap, because I constantly say, genes load the gun and environment pulls the trigger. So it's just what you were saying about genetic testing. We did the same. And I have to be careful. My kids have to be careful. My husband has to be careful. And we have to take it very seriously.
You do, because you don't want your biology to become your biography.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I had to write Radical Metabolism, because this will make sure that your genes are not your destiny. Your DNA is not your destiny. You can override that with lifestyle habits thanks to the science of epigenetics. So Radical Metabolism is all about that next wave of health and healing. It's truly a twist on keto and paleo, which are fine for people, I believe, short term. But you got to get your fats right. You got to revamp them. You got to detox properly, feed your microbiome, and take a look at your kitchen. People will be astounded in terms of what I've uncovered as far as the healthiest pots and pans go. And what we've been using for ages may not be healthy in this day and age the way it was in your grandma's time. That's all I'll say about that. My lips are sealed.
So guys, bottom line is this. I always say we will spend money and get our nails done. We will get our hair done. We will spend money at, the shopping line for little trinkets that don't even serve us in the long run of our health. And for anybody who is moderately, taking their health seriously, this is a book that really will help. And you can see just from listening to Ann, the information, the knowledge, the commitment, and the passion. So if you want to get radical, this is your chance. But I really want to thank you, Ann, for being here and for giving up your time and for being so dedicated to always sharing the truth and uncovering and rewriting and uncovering the truth for so many of us.
Rock on, radical, Rachel.
So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But again, go to radicalmetabolism.com. And also, if you love Ann as much as I do, once you make that purchase, also give a little testimonial after you've read it so that the world can see how amazing she is too. That's, of course, my little push. But thank you so much, Ann Louise. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys. Have a wonderful time today and every day thereafter, being super healthy and being radical about your health. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Bye, Ann Louise.
Bye-bye.